Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Our first item is approval of the agenda. I have no additions.
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Recognitions.
How about congratulations to our student rep in his wrestling career? And happy eating now that you're.
Congratulations, Casey. All right, we'll move on to visitors' comments, and we have Brad Troftgruben.
That working? Okay, first I would like to thank the board for giving us time to speak. I will make this brief because I believe there's a few other people that would like to speak. For you guys that don't know me, my name is Brad Troftgruben. I've been a resident of Newcastle for 16 years now. I've also been the facilitator for the summer rec golf program for the last 13 years, where we've had up to as many as 30 kids attending for a week of golf in the summer. When I was a younger man, played 4 years of high school golf and a little college golf. I consider golf a game of integrity, honesty, and honor that did a lot to shape me as a young adult. I still play as much as I can today. We have a great little golf course in this town, so good in fact that we have hosted the 2A state championships twice now. Our kids have a great facility and place to play and practice to shape their game. We used to be able to go play for Upton as Wyatt Volker did. Unfortunately, our kids don't have that opportunity anymore due to rules changes and Upton not wanting our kids over there. I come tonight to petition for a high school golf program in Newcastle. The opportunities for our kids to obtain scholarships in golf is much better than, say, football, basketball, or soccer. A high school golf team would come at minimal cost to the school district. The players provide their own equipment. I've already got the team bags and team shirts paid for by Pinnacle Bank. I've talked to the country club, and the team during the season can play for free and practice with free range balls while they're in season and on the team. We have multiple people that have volunteered to help coach the kids on their swings. Scott Beeler has agreed to coach since he is the only one that has the credentials to be a head coach by Wyoming standards. I will leave time for anyone else that might like to speak unless you guys have any questions. And again, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brad. Any questions from the board? Jason?
So is it going to be your goal to get those credentials to do coaching yourself or?
Possibly, I'm looking into it,
Okay.
but spring season, if this got through, there's no way I could get it done to be ready for the spring season. So I talked to Scott about it to at least get us rolling. Okay.
Paul?
Do you have any idea of numbers?
We had a parent and athlete interest meeting. We had about, I want to say 10 high school boys interested. We've got a lot of middle school kids interested that, wouldn't be able to play yet, but that come out for the summer rec. But it's going by word of mouth right now. So I would imagine the number is going to be bigger if we actually called it to first day of practice or tryouts or whatever is on this date.
So is it girls and boys or just boys?
That would be, up to you guys. I think by standards, you probably have to offer them both, don't you? I have not had any high school girls contact me yet, but I'm not saying that there's not that out there.
And does that include any eighth graders that your number?
No,
You know how-
the 10 was high school.
Okay,
Right now enrolled high school boys.
just,
There is a pile of middle school parents and kids that came out to the meeting that would like to see the program. 7th and 8th, 6th, 7th and 8th graders. We actually got some really good golfers right now in that 7th, 8th grade bracket.
and then do they have a spring and fall season?
They have a spring season and then a short season in the fall. It usually runs August 15th to about September 15th. State is actually in the fall. I know that, like Upton, they actually won a state championship this year. And I know it's up to the coach's discretion, but, they played golf and football.
And so when is the spring season?
Alicia is trying to work on getting me that schedule right now. She was having a little trouble getting a hold of it. And then there's a spring championship, is that correct, Wyatt? At the end of, like, towards the end of the school year to finish off the spring season, and then they come back for just a month in the fall.
Can I just ask, Wyatt, when do you remember when you played in the spring? Like the time frame?
Like, last week of March, first of April. It's
Okay.
been a very short season.
Yeah, and of course it's affected by the snowfall.
Right,
Of course, it's gotta be,
just like soccer.
even when I played high school golf in North Dakota, so the first 3 meets were generally canceled because there was still snow on the courses.
Okay. Does anyone else have questions for Brad? No, thank you, Brad. Oh,
Just real quick, Brett, so is the request to start for next fall, not this spring?
I would just soon get going this spring.
Oh, okay. Is that acceptable by the Activities Association since we've already paid? So as a district, I guess my question is we have to submit that yearly for the catastrophic insurance coverage, and you have to mark the sports that you're going to offer. Does that affect that agreement?
You know, he didn't bring it up when Alicia, because we looked at if we'd be in 3A or 2A and trying to get going for this spring. He didn't bring anything up about it.
Okay. I'm not sure on that one. I'll have to check that.
yeah, so we'd have some questions about the High School Activities Association rules that we would need to know. Including paying. And are there any additional costs other than a coach?
A coach,
There's
we
transportation.
would have some transportation, but it's a small team. I mean, I think we'd probably be able to do it with Suburban. Just the boys team. If you had girls and boys, you'd probably have to move up to a bus, but the only overnights should be spring championship and regionals and state would be the only time we'd be spending the night anywhere.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And if anyone else would like to talk about this, you're welcome to. Just please tell us your name for the record.
I'm Colton Vanderpool Mobley. I'm a senior here at the high school. I too am here to advocate for golf. I believe it's a game that not only, it teaches you what you can do within the game, but it relates to so many things in life. Looking at, today, obviously, as we enter a more virtual business world, maybe we're getting away from things like that, but lots of business dealings are done on the golf course, playing golf. And I think this is an activity that the students of Newcastle deserve to be able to participate in. And I myself understand with the way, things go and looking at the obstacles that we face right now, the odds of me getting to play high school golf are fairly low, no matter, how much I would like to. However, I believe going forward, and I believe here today, it is my responsibility. I think that it would almost be a disservice to the kids of Newcastle to not pursue a golf program. Looking around us, I mean, every school has a golf program. Those kids are able to go compete and compete well. I mean, Logan Timmerman from Upton is able to excel, could go play college golf. I don't necessarily know the specifics there. But it is, in my firm opinion, that pursuing a golf program would be very beneficial for the students of Newcastle. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, hey guys, I'm Badger Trothboon. And so I'd like to piggyback off what he said, but I don't think interest out of the students is at all a problem. I know me, Colton, many others in the summer, we're playing golf constantly, at least 3 times a week together. And then I'm also participating in men's league. I saw Colton there a few times. So I think getting the interest out of the students isn't a problem at all. I know every 3A school that I participate against in, say, basketball or wrestling, all their gyms, I'd look up and I'd see golf banners 10 years, 15 years in a row because they can excel so well. For an example, Buffalo, I know if you've ever been to their gym, you can look up, you'll see many golf. They seem to excel in it. So I think if we got this program started and we got to see the youth come into it and have kids looking and being ready in middle school and wanting to play in this sport, they'd start to be going through middle school like how we do with basketball and how we grow into high school, and we'd be able to excel just like them. So if there's any questions, thank you.
Jason,
I got a couple questions. One is for Troy. Troy, how would the transportation look with?
It would depend on what, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So transportation would be basically Suburbans depending on the numbers. And of course, if the numbers are high enough, then we could do a bus.
Okay.
So I don't think that would be an issue.
Okay. And then the second, Brad, is there a certain amount of players that you need to qualify for anything or?
So you take a regular meet, you take 5 players and count 4 scores. So, so a regular meet, you would bring 5 players and take 4, they take 4 scores to actually in the competition. So you'd want to bring 4 minimum. I would probably look at 5 for sure, if not 6, in case you get to Torrington and the kid's getting sick or something, you can swap them out. But 4 is to have a chance of competing well, you need 4 players to get 4 scores.
Clearly, it sounds like you got that covered. So,
Yep, I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
okay, thank you.
Billy,
Brad, another question. They do offer JV too, correct? So I mean, it could be up.
Talking through why they do, but it's on a limit. It's gonna be based
Well,
on.
some of the tournaments are varsity JV both, right?
Yeah, and it's on if enough schools got enough kids to make a JV team, I mean, I think that's more just a dependent year from year.
Yep.
The coach is talking and going, yeah, let's put a JV meet together because I got a younger class of kids that I want to compete.
any other questions? Does anyone else care to speak to golf tonight? All right, well, I would say we'll get some of those questions answered so we can put that on the agenda at our next meeting. Thank you.
Oh, they're all gonna leave. Glad we're all here.
You can have the cookies, but you can't have the chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, looks good. Thanks for coming.
All right, we will move on to, oh, sorry, are there any other visitors' comments tonight? That's everybody? All right, action items, the consent agenda.
Move to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We have no old business tonight. New business. It's a bid recommendation for a type C school bus. Mr. LaCroix.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, I have a recommendation for you from Elder Equipment for the Bluebird Type C 72 passenger school bus in the amount of $50,800,800, $150,000. However, one of the things that is part of this is $2,200 will have to come out of general fund, because what we would like to do or request in that acceptance is aluminum wheels. And the reason for that is some of the conditions that we drive on. If we don't have that kind of a wheel, we tend to have a lot of more wear and tear. And that is not covered under the acceptable reimburse stuff. So Troy, would you have anything you want to add to that? Yeah. So that would be, Madam Chair, that would be my recommendation.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the elder equipment bid for a Bluebird Type C72 passenger school bus. Any discussion? Jason?
Have we checked with the co-op to see what they can or can't do to help us with some of that funding?
For the wheels you're talking about, or the,
The bus itself.
usually all that's just reimbursable through the state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the issue is the co-op can help when there's opportunities for other companies to get involved, but in this situation, it's a monopoly. You don't have a lot of other competitors.
Yeah, actually in the state of Wyoming, Bluebird is handled by Elder Equipment in Casper, and that's the only Bluebird dealer in the state.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
It was interesting when he was removed. There's quite a few people that will remember my comments at the time because it came after Ogden reportedly, I guess you should say, because it was reported and then they claimed that he claimed that didn't happen, but we all saw the letters where he made the chairmans of the board sign that we're going to do this and that and the other thing, and we're not going to disobey. And
we're not going to disobey. I love that. I love that part. We're not going to disobey.
pretty much that's what I got
Yeah.
from it. Reading it is, aye, Captain, we will follow your rule. It kind of made me look a little different at Driscoll. And then this year's made
Well,
it
and you
even-
didn't just look different. Come on. You gave him a nickname even.
I gave him a nickname. He was saved in my phone still to this day as Dictator Driscoll. And I still don't feel bad about that because Weston County hasn't seen him once leading up to this session.
We'll move on to directors' reports. Oh, Jason.
Not that it matters on vote. Are we replacing a bus or is this in addition to the fleet we have?
We're actually just replacing a bus. The bus that we're replacing is Route 6 and it's Type D bus. So what we're looking at is for Route 6 and it's crossed behind the senior center, and road conditions over there are not the best. I think most of you know that. So that's why we're looking at the different style wheel for that.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, directors' reports. Who'd like to start? Adam, are you here for Greg tonight? No? Okay. Well, welcome.
Madam Chair, he's a coal miner that's used to having 5 hours of drive time. So I think his biggest concern is if he shows up and his family's gonna wonder what are you doing home early.
Well, welcome. Yeah, welcome to the district. Angie.
I do not have anything, Madam Chair, unless there's any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Angie? No?
I don't have anything either unless you guys have questions.
Troy's short and sweet tonight too. All right. Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair, but I'm good at this time.
Okay, board reports.
All we
Looky
did,
Casey.
all we did was just pay the bills.
Okay,
No meeting.
no meeting. WEPT met for the rate setting meeting. We also met with our financial advisors and went over the 35-page investment report. A result of that is that the trust is able to buy down 1% of the projected increase to districts. So they'll be coming around to visit with Angie and talk about the specific increase for our district here shortly. Have they made an appointment yet?
They've met with me.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to know the news?
You absolutely, yes, I can't share it until you know,
Okay.
so.
It is a 16% increase for our medical insurance.
Well, the stop loss insurance, which, there is one multi-million-dollar claim this year. And so the stop loss insurance went up substantially, quite a bit more than any of us expected. But it's, I believe it had more than paid for itself for 13 of the last 14 years or something. So we do need that stop loss insurance.
I have all the paperwork that they left with me with all the information. If anybody wants to come in and look at it. So, you know.
So actually, Madam Chair, to just, I guess, piggyback on that, as we get towards the end of the legislative session, there's really three big concerns that I have as we get ready to try to set a budget. It does not look like the House or the Senate are going to come to any kind of agreement. And so looking at a special session, it's going to make it very difficult to build an accurate budget. The other thing that concerns me is we could be possibly in the number of kindergarten students being in the 30s. And then you add, that kind of an increase with your benefit package, trying to keep pace for our staff with just the cost adjustment of living. There's really going to be a pretty tight knit budget year, I'm afraid. And I agree, but I mean, golf's everything I think we do for kids is good. But I think as you look at doing anything, maybe our first question should be is, can we sustain what we actually have right now? Because I really do worry with, those are big numbers. Originally, I was hoping that maybe legislatively, they would help us out with maybe a, 10, 12% increase of just ECA. Realistically, you're looking at probably 4 to 5. Of that 4 to 5 with that kind of a hit to your benefits, that's not a lot of wiggle room, folks. Being a new business manager, that would be quite unnerving. Being an old superintendent, it's unnerving. But yeah, there's a lot of what ifs as we try to, go down this last 4 months here.
And there are some options as far as what kind of deductible we have and all that sort of stuff to look at through that process as well. Okay. I will say I did talk to a couple of legislators at the Capitol, and I did not say exactly what I thought to a couple of them too, so that was good. Does anyone else have any reports? I did give the Buildings and Grounds Committee a report. And Billy's going to have some comments on that, and then we'll share it with everybody else too about what's happened with that. Do you want to look at that really quickly right now?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Billy, go ahead. Here, I can share with you guys.
I guess I see a few things on there that we talked about, that weren't really major projects, but, I guess I was wondering where the status was. That wall in the elementary school that was leaking by the window? Has that been repaired?
Grade wing, right?
I don't remember, but it was in the east side of the building.
Wasn't it the fifth grade wing?
Yeah,
I do not know that right offhand. I'll have to check
Okay.
on that in the morning.
okay. Also fertilizer for the fields. Was that ordered? Not
So I
ordered?
believe what that will be under is the, thank you. So it'll be part of the two-phase process of the field. The first one is the sprinkler, and then the other part of that would be if that company would also give us a bid, since they're here, of what it would look at, recrowning and reseeding, and I'm assuming that would all be part of that complete package for both the practice field and the
Yeah, I just seen where it
competition field.
just said sprinklers and possible recrowning. I didn't see anything about
Yeah.
fertilizing, so.
Yeah.
Cubbies at the elementary?
I don't believe there's any action on that. So
Okay.
and I can tell you that's a no. One of the things we've been trying to look at is in the elementary hallways, there's those very pretty, they're corkboard, but they're lined in oak. And truly, we'd like to add some more of those at the elementary hallway, more down towards like the science room. And then also doing the same thing in the hallway at the high school, which would be down by the wrestling room, because we do hang quite a bit of art there. And we can't even find a company that's doing that anymore. So that might be something where we'd have to go to maybe a local contractor that's able to do like finished carpentry work. So no, I'm pretty sure there's nothing in any cubbies.
Okay, and I'm just going off the list we had before, and then I know the pool lights are on here, but we talked about the football lights too.
Yep, and I did check with Black Hills Power, and we would not be able to qualify for a grant to switch over from the, oh, blessed.
The halogen.
Halogen to LEDs.
Okay,
The grant at one time was like $25,000, and now it's down to $5,000.
okay,
But you about got to get a year or two out in front of it.
okay.
So I would say the existing lighting is probably the best we're gonna
Okay.
do at this time, especially with funding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think last time we talked, we were talking about the grant from Black Hills.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
that's all I
Yeah,
have.
all the grant money had been allocated for this year. And then when it was only down to the $5,000 mark, that probably wouldn't do us a lot of good.
So maybe that's something we can try to jump on next year or do without.
I'm hoping that maybe it's something that we could maybe look at other grants or other opportunities that, different energy companies might have, or lighting companies.
That's all I had.
Sean,
Thank you, Lady Chair. Honest, I thought we voted on, the sprinkler systems were different. And then we start the recrowning process, like in, October or right after football.
Not really the recrowning process. I think we aerated. We did, like a top dressing, it sounds like a golf term there, and I'm sorry, I don't know if that's the same. But we did what we could do with that, but at least on the main football field, to really recrown that and do what you need to do with the new sprinkler system, it would be rethinking that exponentially.
I'm just trying to figure out, because with that guy's proposal, I can't even speak, but what he proposed to us from Buffalo was over years, it's not gonna happen overnight. So what you do is you bring in sand and you start building it up year after year, and that's where you start getting your crown on your football field.
Right. And I think what we're hoping to do is if we replace that sprinkler system, we'd have to do something fairly quick, so your sprinkler system over time wouldn't be lower than where your field is up. If you know what I'm trying to talk, where you're with the adjustments that are allowable within the sprinkler heads.
Okay. So we're still thinking about changing the sprinkler system on the.
I think with our existing water bills and the problems that we're having, lease those two fields, which tend to be more water usage, definitely need to be looked at, and probably in time, looking at all of our water systems, and maybe even having to switch over to some zero-scaping, just because we don't want to water where we've always watered, just because of cost.
Mhm.
Or maybe it's
There's a
a head
lot of grass
adjustment.
at the elementary school.
The elementary school, well, and truly, one of the weirdest corners is right out in front of the district office. That sidewalk tends to hold that pool of moisture forever. Now, I don't know where the moisture comes from, but anyway, I think we have to really start looking at all of those systems, because I know that we had some leaks in the past and they've always been problematic, but we got to get the bigger fields taken care of first. The high usage area is probably more important.
I just got one more thing on it. The pool last time we met, it was did we get the pool fixed?
I'm going to go and say, I believe the new boilers are in. The heaters are in, and
Yesterday, the kiddie pool at 3 o'clock today, or the waiting, whatever you call it, was up to temperature. I know the boilers are doing good. It's on, each pool has 2 of its separate boilers. So the boilers are doing good. The other water temperature come up 6 degrees today. By 3 o'clock tomorrow, it should be real close to temperature. And they're all 9 and doing good.
and actually that boiler process went a lot faster than anticipated.
Um,
And actually that boiler process went a lot faster than anticipated.
um, Joe,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since you brought up the water bill and the football field, I remember I've always heard it in here about the wetness in, I believe, the northeast corner. And there was a leak fix right by the sprinkler box or a water isolation box or something like that. Has that fixed that? Is that where that water was coming from, or was it coming?
I think the fix for short term, it's better. That's truly where I think you're going to have to relook on that crowning, because that tends to always be a low area. And for years, it's always held the most moisture. There's a sump pump, I believe, over in that corner. And a lot of years, it just runs nonstop. But then if you remember, all you do is you pump it just to the other side of the fence, which is still low. And there's really not a place for it to grow. So what you have to do is, I think if you brought that field up, that part of that field would take care of that issue. But no, that corner has been problematic. But last year is where we had the major leak, where the field actually, I don't know, was 4 or 5 feet in a water bubble.
and there's almost always water laying in the rail yard. That whole corner clearing to the rail yard is wet. Well, maybe not. Yeah, not right now, maybe. All right.
If we could do both, it'd be the best time to do that, because, once you get a work crew here, that's half your cost. Just, getting anyone to do work. Once you get them here, the more we get done with them.
Okay, so I'll get that committee report to everybody. And I did forget to mention that I visited out in the high school twice last week. Had a nice visit with Bryce. Visited with 3 new teachers at the high school. Got to see some fantastic artwork in the halls and the library. So I encourage everyone else to take some time and do that if you can. All right. No other board reports. Casey, you're next.
Thank you. So we have something kind of interesting coming up. So this Monday, the Kelly Walsh Student Council is coming down to have an exchange with us. So basically, they're a really big school. We're kind of on the smaller side. And so we're going to see how each other run pretty much right now. First, they're coming down here. We'll have a couple workshops with them, kind of talk about some ideas and whatnot, have an extended lunch period and kind of run like a mock little meeting to show them how we run as a smaller council. And then I don't think there's a date yet, but in the future sometime, we will go up to Kelly Walsh and do the same sort of thing and be hosted by their council to see on a larger scale how their student body runs and that sort of stuff. So I think it's pretty interesting. We haven't done this in previous years, and it gives us the opportunity to kind of get involved with the state and kind of see how other people are running things. So pretty excited for it. But other than that, there's nothing else. So
You have a blood drive coming up, don't you?
yes, we do have the blood drive. I forget the exact date.
March
March sometimes, but
something.
signups are available. So students, I think you have to be 16 or older to sign up, and you need if you're under 18, you need a parent signature. But anybody else can make an appointment and come in and donate some blood.
It's March 13th.
Yep, March 13th. So
It was on the district
yeah, I
Facebook
completely
page posted
spaced
it.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, they did. All right, thank you. Next on our agenda is an executive session. I'm sorry.
Angie, are you sticking around or are you gonna leave? You'll stay, okay. I was gonna ask a discussion item, but I'll wait if she's gonna stick around.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's bad.
All right. We would like to have an executive session under Wyoming statute 16-4-405, the little X for information classified confidential by law.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to enter into executive session. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carried, and we'll move into executive session. Does anyone need a break before we? Okay, welcome back to our regular session. Pardon? Oh, Brad's not back.
He's getting a cookie.
I was told no break. I followed the pleasure of the.
We need the Jeopardy theme song.
Just go. Make stuff else.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of glad I work over in that little hole over there where nobody hardly ever comes. So most of the time, if I go anywhere, I'm going down to the gas stations. Dan.
The board will be sending a letter and establishing a special ed handbook review committee. Moving on to future agenda items. We will have the first grade readers at the next board meeting. We're gonna want to look at our organizational chart, CCA-E. And then on March 13th, we will advertise for a early start on March 27th for initial and continuing contract teachers. On the 27th, we'll have initial and continuing contract teachers and advertise for an early start on April 10th for administration evaluations and contracts. And Angie will have her budget team meeting that day with the staff and budget team committee. April 10th will be admin evals and contracts. And we'll have an early start for future planning. April 24th will be future planning and budgetary. And then on May 8th, Angie will have the preliminary budget for us.
Sure, what were the times on those early starts?
We have not set those yet. I think we usually start at 5.
Dates were good though.
March 13th and March 27th and April 10th. And April 24th, those will all be early. Or sorry, the 13th won't be early. Yeah, the rest of them. Okay, and we'll have some answers and discussion about golf as well for future agenda. Okay, discussion items, staff recognition banquet is April 26th. Okay for everybody? The staff recognition banquet, that is a Friday night, which gives people their weekend.
And it's just so everyone knows, so, I mean, there really isn't a good date. The reason for that date is, that's the Friday before prom. And it tends to have the less interference of coaches being gone. The other date that we did look at was the May 10th date, and that is the opening day of regional track in nearby Rollins.
And Mother's Day weekend. And Mother's Day weekend as well. Mother's Day weekend too.
I see.
Don't forget Mother's Day, Brad. That was my hint. So is April 26th. Is that good for everybody? Isn't that usually 5 o'clock for the banquet? What time?
So generally we do like a happy hour from like 5 to 6. And then we'll do the awards at that time, and then a catered dinner afterwards. And generally we try to set up inside, knowing that if we do that, then it'll be nice enough to go outside.
Yep.
But if you plan on going outside, you're going to come inside because it works.
And we are
opposite every-
talking at the Flying V, right?
Those are open dates
Yeah.
at the V.
So we good? Okay, we're gonna go with April 26th. Thank you for doing all that.
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.
We're gonna go with April 26th. Thank you for doing all that. Billy has a question.
All right. So the old saying, happy wife, happy life. And I know my wife has talked to a couple other school board members about this. What would be the chances of getting the capability of using a credit card at the concession stand and the coffee corral? A lot of kids don't carry cash anymore. I've heard it in lines, visiting families come to feed their kids. Oh, you don't take credit card? And I've been to several other events. They are taking credit cards.
Well, the credit card machines come with fees though.
And
How
you,
about
as long as
PayPal?
you advertise that you will charge a 3%,
Yeah.
you charge that 3%.
How about like PayPal?
Don't they run those just off of a tablet?
Well, you can get a little square. You don't want to do the one with the phone because like if the kids are running it, they hook up their phone, they got access to the car information, the account.
Why, we have
But-
adults do that all the time. We're okay with that. We
Yeah,
think
but
that
if you get
that's
the little
advanced
square,
computer science.
the square or whatever, and then you can, cause I know like our concession stands are divvied up 40% of the group that does it. I mean, you'd have to keep track of that, but like all our fundraisers, I know are like, you can do credit card on the phone when you order stuff. That doesn't go to this. I think they were just talking mostly concession stand and the coffee corral, cause the smoothie stand, Alicia has a credit card. You can do a credit card at the smoothie stand. She has that set up on her phone. So I mean, that's something, if that's something we can look at.
I guess I didn't know that was set up for the slushy stand, but
Yeah.
I will. I don't. So I don't even really know what the slushy stand is, so.
A smoothie.
For smoothie stand.
Yeah, it's FBLA.
FBLA.
Yeah, you can talk to Alicia about it, but I can bring more information to you, but Michelle at her shop has it's not this, is it Square?
Square. I get that. I
Yeah.
just don't know how. I mean, someone has to be reconciling that credit card, the credit card transactions for that. I mean, it has to go into an account.
Yeah.
Well, I have not seen that in.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to, that's why I was gonna ask if you were gonna be here after executive session, if that's something we can look into.
We can look
The
into
process
it.
of doing it, because
We'd have to tie a school bank account to it, because then, that's where the money would get
For
deposited.
10%, I would have set up a LaCroix retirement fund and you could run it through
and
that.
if this is something we do look at,
Yeah.
put on there, you will be charged at 3%. So that way it covers the card, and
Right.
most people don't care about it, but
Right.
let's be honest, kids anymore. I know my kids have credit cards. I'm sure there's a lot of kids that have credit cards. Yeah, it's a scary, but
Debit cards.
it's either a credit card or give your kid cash. I
And
mean,
lots of kids have gift cards too, that. Thank you. Jason.
I guess. That was what Billy said, for as many, concession stands that I'm into. We do get a lot of parents asking, do you guys do credit cards? And we turn a lot of people away because we don't have that option. So.
Yeah.
I
Thanks
will
for
definitely
looking into that.
I'll check into it.
Thank you. And I did, the board does know that we are using the positive pay feature on our Pinnacle accounts now. So
That is, right now is only set up on major maintenance, but we want to go forward with the activity and the federal fund account and all the other accounts, so, and they'll set that up for us.
thank you. Anyone else have any discussion items?
I wondered if we could talk about or have a discussion, I guess, about when people come in and talk to us about whatever it happens to be. I think because before we were having people like sign in and if they wanted to talk with the board about something, we knew what they were going to talk about. I think it just cuts down on things that aren't relevant to us. Because we had someone come in and speak about something and it really wasn't necessarily relevant to school district business. And so I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's got to be a way to fix that or work within that.
Well, when the officers talked about opening that up, we the consensus at that time was that people who are paying taxes in the school district, and I agree, it would be great if it was very relevant to the school district. I think he would tell you he thought it was because property taxes, part of property taxes fund school districts. I imagine his perception of its relevance was different than ours. But does anyone else have? I don't look for that to happen very often.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. It was 10.
Yeah, but
Oh. Well, and we did ask a couple questions in there too, so. But thank you. I promise we won't let that get out of hand.
Enough for me.
Okay. All right, hearing no other discussion items, I adjourn this meeting of the school board.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nick. I'll look for an email tomorrow.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh, yes, sorry.
No, we'll call the recreation board
I don't even need
meeting. There's an agenda above in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second. Oh, been moved and seconded. Is there any discussions to the agenda? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion passes. Recognitions. Any recognitions?
Because she was taking half the wedding gift from Mexico and husband was in charge of the other half.
Yeah, I'm happy. Sorry, that wasn't on. I would like to say congratulations, Teresa, for that also. Any other recognitions? Seeing none, we'll move on to visitors' comments. Is there any comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to action items. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. There is no old business and there is no new business, so we'll move on. Anything for your information? Seeing none, any discussion items? Jason?
Not to slow the process down. What, did we have dates when they were talking about wanting to use the facilities?
The camper.
Yeah, and all of that. Was there? Okay.
Can we ask? Are they gonna get back to Teresa on that then? Okay. Well, any other discussion items? Seeing none, meeting adjourned.